Just a very quick message to talk about cables, connectors. What would you do with these? Right, first of all, the message I get. Can you help me? My vehicle has been immobilized. It won't start. It's incompatible. It must be faulty. Can I send it back? Already taken it out and reverted it back to stock. I've had one customer that cut out his Ghost 2 immobilizer system, drove a 7-hour round trip for me to explain what I'm about to explain to you now. So I could save you loads of time. The customer I had today was fairly quickly convinced that it must be a fault with the unit, but I was right. I actually drove and met him halfway, about an hour away from here, and just helped him out with the bit of fitting that he was stuck with, and transferred it all back again. Left him to do the trims, but essentially you've got your harness here. I would now retain your two USBs because we've had a bit of a circus with the firmwares online. I've had better versions on USBs for a while now. It does look like they're getting on top of it. Today's unit that I looked at was good, was up to date, and everything else. But I would go back into other videos if you've seen them. Test tape. I would bind it all the way around your USBs, put a little coil in them, send them down behind the dash and put them in the steering column. That's the spot. And then you can just reach up through the gap, adjust your steering a little bit. You can pull it out. You can always, if you need to, do a USB update. Or if I get hold of exciting new things that I can share with you, or potentially custom firmwares, because we're starting to open up to things like that at the factory. But the main reason for this is your vehicle is immobilized because it cannot see your original circuit board. And the reason it can't see your original circuit board is because you haven't plugged it in correctly. You didn't plug it in correctly. I always plug it in correctly. But if you take the original, if you really want to test it, if you take the original male connector coming out of the back of your dash, plug it into the female of this, and then take the male end of this straight into your OEM board, it can still be fully assembled inside the cluster. You could plug the other one straight into what you get with the virtual dash. And with those two units, even sat separately, you will see it work. The vehicle will start, the dash will receive a signal, it'll power up, everything will operate as it should. You could do a firmware update, you could flash it, do whatever you like. And then you start taking it apart and put it all back in again. That's up to you. But look, the reason that your vehicle won't start is because on this, you've got these two teeth. You've also got two teeth on the lever end. If I can show you, everything's back to front. If you don't get both of those teeth into both of those grooves, and you don't see those bright orange or purple colours shining through those little gaps in the side, it was you. And if you've only got a tooth sitting in the first one, then I think you can imagine that there's another 3 or 4 millimeters for it to go home onto said pins that stick out in the bottom of here. And you could do that at either end, but it's most commonly done here. And today's customer had, of course, fitted both of these on the bench and was confident that it couldn't be that. But of course, you've got a connector here as well. So if you really want the true test to make sure it's not your harness, or you've not screwed up something on this, or overbent it, or it's just got a fault on it, just check that. Check that connector, check what you can see, plug them all back in again, reseat them. If they're really, really hard to get off, get a little smear of Vaseline on your finger and just put it on the connector end before it goes back in. It'll save you time plugging it in and out, and it'll get it in a bit smoother and further home. But yeah, retain your USBs, drop them down the bottom, coil them up. My favourite is to poke them inside the steering column. You'll only need them for upgrades. You're very unlikely to be doing wired airplay, although you could. Okay, Thanks, all for now.